No, 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 no. It was flour, I promise you. Hey, anyone want to go rollerblading?
600 North Mont, apartment 4, open 911 line. Any holiday units at 200 1779 9457.
So a few months ago, my contact at Toor Knives in San Diego, California, out of the blue sent a new knife to me called the Karsumba. Now, I'd never heard of the Karsumba, but boy was I surprised when I opened the box and found this little beauty inside. He mentioned that he was not expecting a video review on this. This was just a thanks for making a video about their tomahawk and their Krypteia knife. But after carrying this thing on duty for a few months, I thought it was a pretty cool piece of gear that some of you out there might like for your everyday carry setup. The Karsumba has been designed after the traditional Karambit style knife with a curved blade. However, Toor Knives removed the little ring on the end of the handle that is typically found on Karambit knives so that they could reduce the overall size of the handle and make this thing a little bit easier to carry for those average Joes who just want to carry this thing concealed as a self-defense knife. They precision grind these blanks out of CPM 3V steel, and really what all that means is that you've got an extremely tough piece of steel in your hand that is not likely to bend or chip or break under hard use, but is also very easy to sharpen. And the canvas micarta handle has been custom shaped by the technicians there at Toor Knives to custom fit each specific knife as it comes off the line. If you've ever held a canvas micarta knife handle in your hand, you know that when they become wet, they're actually very, very easy to grip. They become easier to grip and practically stick to your hands, and that's kind of a cool little feature. Toor Knives custom makes a black kydex sheath that they call their shark skin pattern for each one of their knives. Doesn't matter what model you choose. Each one of them comes with a custom-made sheath that is secured with metal grommets. As you order your knife, you'll be able to pick what type of clip or belt loop you'd like attached to your sheath, specific to your style of carry. For years I've been carrying a K-bar TDI, kind of a smaller version of a Karambit knife, mounted directly behind the magazine pouch on my duty belt. Now the purpose of this knife is not for opening boxes or scraping fake registration stickers off of a license plate. This is purely a self-defense knife and has never been used for any other everyday task. I, along with other police officers, mount a knife like this on our weak side. For me, it's my left side, just left of center position, what we would call 10 or 11 o'clock on our belt. The purpose of this knife is to be used as a self-defense knife in the event of an attempted gun grab. The primary hand, my right hand, could immediately go down and trap the hand of whoever was trying to get my pistol out of its holster, while my weak hand, my left hand, would go down to this knife, draw it out, and go to work on this bad guy before he could get a hold of my gun. While the handle on this is a little bit bigger than my K-bar TDI knife, I actually found that to be a plus. It didn't jab into my side any more than the smaller knife, but every time I reached down, my hand just fell immediately on the grip, and I knew that I could, in an emergency, reach down and get a full grip on this knife and come out of the sheath if it was required. You'll notice that this knife is a full tang knife, meaning that it's one big piece of steel all the way from the tip clear down through the handle to the pommel. It's been drilled with a lanyard hole in case you want to attach some type of paracord or something else to the end of this to wear down into a pocket. And the canvas micarta grip panels have been secured by 2 heavy-duty screws. My experience with these screws on all different types of knives, not just from Toor Knives, is that you should probably put a dab of blue Loctite on them before you start carrying this every day. That way you're not going to end up with loose screws and loose grip panels when you need this knife the most. But you can also remove these panels every once in a great while if you think you need to get underneath there to clean or dry things out in the case of a submerged knife. All knives that come from Toor Knives show up in the box wicked sharp with a very deadly little point, and this knife was no exception. This thing was ready to go and ready to be mounted on my duty belt right out of the box. Now, because I'm assuming most of you don't have a duty belt, I can say that this would also make for a very good everyday carry knife, sort of a supplement to what you already should be carrying anyway. In addition to a pistol and a spare magazine and probably a small multi-tool, I always recommend that a person has at least one knife on them. Now, my primary folding knives usually get used for opening mail and cardboard boxes and cutting pieces of rope or hose or whatever needs to be done during the day, but a knife like this would be mounted on my everyday carry belt just left of center and would be worn concealed for the purpose of self-defense and self-defense only. Again, not a utility knife for my purposes. Now let me go ahead and address the complaint that a lot of you are going to have. You've had on the past 2 Toor Knives videos that I've made. This knife is not for everybody. It retails for $235. Some of you might say, I can go on Amazon and for $40 I can pick up a very similar Karambit style knife and use it for self-defense. Well, yes, you can, and chances are very good that that knife is going to work for you. But the way I look at things these days, I'm willing to pay a couple of dollars more at this point in my life to get a good quality piece of equipment. This is something I'm going to bet my life on and the life of my family. I want my gear to be top notch, and I'm not afraid to pay a couple of dollars extra for good quality self-defense everyday carry gear. Okay, you've seen the Toor Knives Karsumba right there on the tabletop to give you a close-up look at what the materials are like, at the craftsmanship. I was impressed. However, we want to see how this thing actually cuts in the real world, how it's going to perform for us against real meat targets. I've got over here a pork loin, not easy to come by anymore. I had to trade one of my children away for the pork loin and actually add $1,000 to that package. And then I've got a bag of flour. I'm going to wrap them in cellophane for you, and then we're going to suspend them from this lovely little rack system we have over here at the range, and I'm going to give them a couple of swipes with the Karsumba from an actual drawn position as I would probably use it in the real world. So the first cut, nice and deep into the meat. I actually don't even know how far in that is. If I have to estimate, that's about where the blade is stopping. So about that deep into the meat, just with a light swipe. Let's give it a couple more tries before we lose this pork shoulder to the coyotes. Pork very closely replicates human tissue. The Karsumba makes very quick work. This is very close to human skin with no pressure whatsoever. One-handed, holding the camera, I can cut down through the pork skin into the meat below. Let's take a look on this other side here. This was our first cut. Go ahead and comment below. We've got another deep slice right in here. Nice clean slices, no raggedy work. This is not a serrated blade, so it's not going to drag serrated teeth through the meat. I'm going to move over to strong hand now and just give it a couple swipes here in this undisturbed area. Mind you, there's a little bone right there. Let's see what we can do. Without any power behind it, holding a camera, I was able to get a cut that's a good 1.5 inches deep. That's going to open up some serious bleeding in an attacker and probably make them think twice about continuing pressing that attack. Another good slice. Look how clean that is. I mean, that's butcher shop cut right there. By the way, this is not going to be wasted. I'm going to pack this up in the bag here, go home and barbecue it up for the OG compound security dogs. Wow, look at that. I'm already down in the center. Evidently one of those earlier cuts went clear down in the center of the pork shoulder, so most of the blade deep. Wow. See if I can cut this for you on camera without taking one of my dainty little digits off. I'm not even all that strong. Well, it's no high-tech fleece backstop, but this 5-pound bag of Walmart flour will get the job done. Let's go hang it up. This looks like the aftermath of an Elton John garden party out here.
Yes! I like it.
That's cool. For those of you who care, the blade hardness is a 59 to 61 Rockwell hardness.
It's not that hard.
That's pretty hard as far as I know. The overall length of this knife is 6.75 inches, but the blade is only 2.5 inches. That leaves you 4 1/4 inches of nice, solid handle to grip onto. For those of you with normal size hands, you'll find this a very comfortable knife. Now I have Shrek sized hands, so I noticed that as I gripped this knife, my pinky finger fell right on this little, what I call a little bird's head shape here. This shape is actually very useful in helping to retain the knife in your grip, but on me it tends to, I wouldn't even say dig into my pinky finger, it just contacts my pinky finger there a little tighter than I would normally choose, but it was not uncomfortable in any way and would not in any way prevent me from carrying this knife. The overall weight of this knife is 6.5 ounces, making it just light enough to be carried all day long without noticing, but heavy enough that you feel like you've got a serious tool in your hand for self-defense when needed. For those of you who will complain that the price is higher than you'd like, just know that you're buying a 100% American-made piece of steel that has been handcrafted by knife experts in San Diego, California. Toor Knives is owned and operated by U.S. combat veterans. So know that in addition to getting a great piece of steel for you, you're also helping support Americans who served our country and have now dedicated their lives to making some top quality gear for civilians, first responders, and military. If you're interested in getting yourself one of these Karsumbas, I'm going to put a link down here in the description section. When you click over there, you're going to go right to the Karsumba page, but take a look around their catalog. I think you're going to find some of their other designs pretty intriguing. They have a lot of really cool, badass knives down there at Toor Knives, and something else might catch your eye and be a little bit more applicable to your personal situation. Let them know that OG sent you over so that they'll think we're cool, and maybe they'll send us some extra things in the future to review here on the show. Now, in case you guys hadn't read the news lately, things are a little nutty out there in the world today, and they're likely to get even nuttier as prices of everyday goods go higher. So I encourage you to stay safe out there, stay alert, stay vigilant, stay armed where you are legally allowed to do so, and that includes a good quality fixed blade knife somewhere on your person. Until next video, OG out.